my fellow aviators and my beloved mechanics. Welcome to another video on my channel. And this one's a little bit sad, but needs to be done. This one is the letter to Pete Buttigieg over the Hawaii crash of Captain Jerome Renck on 21st of June 2019. Now, I'd like to just read the letter sent off to Pete Buttigieg. On this letter, I asked him to correct a great miscarriage of justice that was done on 21st of June 2019. The NTSB report numbers WPR 19MA177. What happened was this was a skydiving aircraft. It lost the left engine on takeoff at about 400 feet AGL. Captain Renck had everything going against him on this flight. He was at a low altitude, at a low airspeed. The center of gravity was on the aft portion of the aircraft. He did his duty. He identified that failed engine. He verified it, and then he feathered it. All the while that aircraft was losing airspeed, that it was flipping upside down, going inverted on him, and while he was hearing the screams of the passengers in the back. This was a great attention to duty, professionalism, and I think that all of us pilots, I would like to believe, would rise to this level of professionalism and attention to duty whenever we are faced with this situation. Captain Jerome Renck was not able to save that aircraft. That day we lost Captain Jerome Renck and 10 other skydivers. This was a horrible accident. What happened next with the NTSB investigation was absolutely horrifying. The NTSB decided to politicize this report and to deliberately falsify it. What they did was, instead of just looking at the physical evidence being 3 of the witnesses out at the airport that morning heard Jerome Renck feather the left engine. Then when they got to the crash scene, they saw that the left propeller was feathered. That's a picture in the NTSB report. Then when the propeller arrived at Hartzell Propeller in Piqua, Ohio, they verified that the propeller was feathered. So this proves beyond any reasonable measure that this accident was caused by the left engine failing, and that Jerome Renck did his duty and feathered that engine as he tried to control that aircraft. Now the NTSB decided to take a different route. David Lawrence, the main investigator on this case, decided that instead of just a horrible accident where a pilot lost the left engine and wasn't able to save the aircraft, no. This was a horrible, reckless pilot that stalled the aircraft on takeoff and killed himself and 10 people. Now, Mr. Lawrence went through and he did everything he could in that NTSB report to hide and conceal all this physical evidence. But nonetheless, there it is. So on here with this letter to Pete Buttigieg, and please go to aviators.com and download a copy of it. I'll show some of it here on the side here so you can read a little bit of it. But please go to aviatorsmarket.com and look up letter to Pete Buttigieg and go to documents, and then you can download the letter that was sent to Pete Buttigieg. Now on here, what I'm asking Pete Buttigieg to do as the Secretary of the Department of Transportation is to set things right, to take right action, to let there be justice in this case. On this horrible NTSB falsified report, they have told a vicious and mean-spirited lie to the family of Captain Jerome Renck to his parents, to his brother, and to his little daughter that he was a reckless, bad pilot that killed himself and 10 people. I am also asking that they set the record straight with the 10 families that lost loved ones that day. Kids that were just out skydiving and having fun in Hawaii on their holiday. I'm asking that Pete Buttigieg review these facts, which are, you can't deny them. Review these facts, change the cause of the accident to what it was, the failure of the left engine, and to honor Captain Jerome Renck as a fallen aviator who perished in the line of duty. I don't think this is out of line, and the letter has already been sent off to him. Now, most of you might be thinking, what's the point? What is this going to solve? No one cares. Boy, no one cares is the motto of modern aviation, I'm afraid. So you may be right, but maybe not. I'm getting my inspiration to deal with this issue and to solve it by a parable in the Bible. Whether or not you're a Christian, whether or not you believe in the Bible, it does contain many wisdoms and truths in it. On one of these parables, it talks about a judge who cared nothing for justice, cared nothing for the people that he was ruling over. A widow came to this judge for justice. The judge didn't care less, blew her off. But that widow came back again and again and again. Eventually, the judge granted her justice. Not because he cared about justice, not because he even cared about the widow, but because of her perseverance. My young pilots, my young mechanics, in this field, perseverance is one of the strongest traits that you're going to need to be a successful pilot or aircraft mechanic. So let us come together and practice this, because the only way that we can fail is if we give up. The powers that be have no control over what we choose to do. If we fail to give up, we can be knocked down 1,000 times, and we will get up 1,001 times. So with that being said, this is just the first step. This letter to Pete Buttigieg might not have any effect. That's okay. Another one will be sent to the new Secretary of the Department of Transportation as soon as he gets in office. Then there are other steps that we'll be taking. First of which is filing a formal complaint with the Department of Transportation Inspector General's office to look into this accident report, into the falsification, into the lies, into the criminal actions taken by the NTSB investigators. That's going to be the next step. Then another step is filing a request with the Aviation Subcommittee that oversees the FAA, the NTSB, and the Department of Transportation, and requesting a formal congressional inquiry into this accident investigation and the actions of the investigators of not only the NTSB, but the FAA. Then there will be other steps taken down the road as appropriate, as needed. Remember, we're pilots. If we see trouble up ahead, we can deviate. We can make course changes. Right now, that's what we're going to do. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm not planning on giving up. So there's no way that we can be defeated. With that being said, I would like your support for this letter. Please, maybe copy it. Maybe send it into Pete Buttigieg or the Department of Transportation and tell them that you are interested in justice in this case. And with all of us demanding that the Department of Transportation issues a formal apology to the family of Captain Jerome Renck, an aviator that perished in the line of duty, fighting for those 10 lives in just horrifying conditions. Can you imagine? You're at 400 feet AGL on takeoff. You lose the left engine, which is critical. Your center of gravity is as far back aft as it can be. Everything working against you. And then you taking the steps that you were trained to do. Identify the failed engine. Verify the failed engine. Feather the failed engine. Do it while the airspeed is dropping. The plane's going inverted, flipping upside down. Hearing the screams of your passengers in the back as the terror and fear comes over them. I wonder if we would have the courage to do our duty, to do as we're trained. And I think the answer to that is yes. For us pilots, I think it is commonplace for us to face adversity, to overcome, to persevere. This is what we do as pilots. And this is what I'm asking us to do with fighting for one of our fallen aviators, for right action and for justice. And with that being said, I think that all of us would have done as Captain Jerome Renck. We would do as we're trained. We would do whatever it takes to save our passengers. Not every time we have an emergency will we be able to do that. Captain Jerome Renck was placed in that situation. I ask that you take time to pray for him and his family and for the families of those 10 skydivers that we lost that day. With that being said, I would like to finish with saying God bless. Keep flying speed. Peace.